Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another tea and chat with me, Basil from Trowbridge Library. I'm sitting in the library and now it's quiet because we close on Tuesday afternoon. Cheers. Hope you've got your cup of tea as well. I've got a cup of tea and I've got some biscuits as well today, which is very, very nice. And I'm going to read you a load of poems today, all favourite poems, officially favourite poems, because they all come from the one book, The Nation's Favourite Poems, chosen by the BBC back in the 90s. This edition was published in 2004. I thought I'd start at the back and go through the lesser favourite ones, the lesser top 100. There's top 100. So they're all 50 to 100 in terms of favouriteness, voted for by you, the public. There's two themes today. I'm going to go either with the first few poems are all about animals, and then we got quite a few on sort of wistfulness about life, about love as well. Just sit back and enjoy it. Have a cup of tea and enjoy me reading to you for the next 20 minutes or thereabouts. I'm going to start with a poem called The Donkey by Gk Chesterton. When fishes flew and forests walked and figs grew upon the thorn, some moment when the moon was blood, then surely I was born. With monstrous head and sickening cry and ears like errant wings, the devil's walking parody on all four-footed things. The tattered outlaw of the earth of ancient crooked will. Starve, scourge, deride me, I am dumb, I keep my secret still. Fools, for I also had my hour, one far fierce hour and sweet. There was a shout about my ears and palms before my feet. So that's The Donkey by Gk Chesterton. The donkey obviously went into Nazareth with Mary. Okay, that's the last bit. Okay, a nice one to start with. Another poem that I didn't know, but is a favourite of a lot of people, I discovered. It's a poem called Ducks by Fw Harvey. It's quite a long one, but it's a very sweet poem, all talking about ducks and how amusing they are, really, and how enjoyable they are for life. Okay. Ducks by Fw Harvey. To FM, who drew them in Holtzminden prison. From troubles of the world I turn to ducks. Beautiful, comical things, sleeping or curled, their heads beneath white wings by water cool. Or finding curious things to eat in various mucks beneath the pool. Tails uppermost, or waddling sailor-like on the shores of ponds, or paddling left, right, with fan-like feet which are for steady oars when they, white galleys, float, each bird a boat rippling at will the sweet, wide waterway. When night is fallen, you creep upstairs. But drakes and dillies nest with pale water stars, moonbeams and shadow bars and water lilies, fearful too much to sleep since they've no locks to click against the teeth of weasel and fox, and warm beneath are eggs of cloudy green, whence hungry rats and lean would stealthily suck new life, but for the mean, the bold, ferocious mien of the mother duck. Yes, ducks are valiant things on nests of twigs and straws, and ducks are soothy things, and lovely on the lake when the sunlight draws thereon their pictures dim in colour cool. And when beneath the pool they dabble, and when they swim and make their rippling rings, oh, ducks are beautiful things, but ducks are comical things, as comical as you. Quack! They waddle round, they do. They eat all sorts of things, and then they quack by barn and stable and stack. They wander at their will, but if you go too near, they look at you through black, small topaz-tinted eyes, and wish you ill. Triangular and clear, they leave their curious track in mud at the water's edge, and there amid the sedge they slime, they gobble and peer, saying, quack, quack. When God had finished the stars and whirl of coloured suns, he turned his mind from big things to fashion little ones. Beautiful, tiny things like daisies he made, and then he made the comical ones, in case the minds of men should stiffen and become dull, humorless and glum, and so forgetful of their Maker be as to take even themselves quite seriously. Caterpillars and cats are lively and excellent puns. All God's jokes are good, even the practical ones. As for the duck, I think God must have smiled a bit, seeing those bright eyes blink on the day he fashioned it. And he's probably laughing still at the sound that came out of their bill. Quack. Okay, that's The Ducks by Fw Harvey. A lovely little poem that is very sweet and amusing as well. Hope you like that one. Okay, I'm going to carry on doing a few more animal ones. There's another one by D.H. Lawrence, Lawrence of Arabia. It's the 57th most popular poem in this book. So I'm just going to go to the right page. There we go, 57. Okay, in the nation's favourite poems. That's why I'm doing them all from nation's favourite poems. Okay, all right. It's nice to see some of you there giving us messages as well. So hi to Jane, hi to Steph as well. Nice to see you both. Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do now is read The Snake by D.H. Lawrence. Okay, D.H. Lawrence, famous for his adventures in the desert, Lawrence of Arabia, but he also wrote books and was a great fighter and lots of things. This is why he's on camp, I think. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. It's Snake. A snake came to my water trough on a hot, hot day, and I, in pyjamas for the heat, to drink there. In the deep, strange scented shade of the great dark carob tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher and must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. He reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the gloom and trailed his yellow-brown slackness soft-bellied down over the edge of the stone trough, and rested his throat upon the stone bottom. And where the water had dripped from the tap in a small clearness, he sipped with his straight mouth, softly drank through his straight gums into his slack, long body, silently. Someone was before me at my water trough, and I, like a second comer, waiting. He lifted his head from his drinking, as cattle do, and looked at me vaguely, as drinking cattle do, and flickered his two forked tongue from his lips and mused a moment, and stooped to drink some more. Being earth-brown, earth-golden from the burning bowels of the earth on that day of Sicilian July, with Etna smoking. The voice of my education said to me, "He must be killed, for in Sicily the black snakes are innocent. The gold ones are venomous." And voices in me said, "If you were a man, you would take a stick and break him now and finish him off." But I must confess how I liked him, how glad I was he had come like a guest in quiet to drink at my water trough and depart peaceful, pacified and thankless into the burning bowels of the earth. Was it cowardice that I dared not kill him? Was it perversity that I longed to talk to him? Was it humility to feel so honoured? I felt so honoured. And yet those voices, "If you were not afraid, you would kill him." And truly, I was afraid. I was most afraid, but even so, honoured still more, that he should seek my hospitality from out the dark door of the secret earth. He drank enough, and lifted his head dreamily as one who has drunken, and flicked his tongue like a forked knight on the air, so black, seeming to lick his lips, and looked around like a god, unseeing into the air, and slowly turned his head. And slowly, very slowly, as if thrice a dream, proceeded to draw his slow length curving round and climb again the broken bank of my wall face. And as he put his head into that dreadful hole, as he slowly drew up, Snake easing his shoulders and entering further, a sort of horror, a sort of protest against his withdrawing into that horrid black hole, deliberately going into the blackness and slowly drawing at himself after. It overcame me now his back was turned. I looked round. Put down my picture. I picked up a clumsy log and I threw it at the water trough with a clatter. I think it did not hit him, but suddenly that part of him that was left behind convulsed in undignified haste, writhing like lightning, and it was gone. Into the black hole, the earth-lipped fissure in the wall front, at which, in the intense, still noon, I stared with fascination. And immediately I regretted it. I thought, how paltry, how vulgar. What a mean act. I despise myself and the voices of my accursed human elation. And I thought of the albatross, and I wished he would come back, my snake, for he seemed to me like a king in exile, uncrowned in the underworld, now due to be crowned again. And so I missed my chance with one of the lords of life. And I have something to expiate, a pettiness. So that's The Snake, a poem by D.H. Lawrence. Did he do the right thing? He was honoured to have this scary snake come down and share his water, but then he got scared at the end. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that one. Okay, I'm going to change tack a bit now. I'm going to still stay in the top 50, top 100 of the favourite poems, but I'm going to do a few more sort of pensive ones, maybe a bit more dreamy, a bit more sort of romancy maybe as well, okay? This is one called I Am by John Clare. So I Am by John Clare. I am, yet what I am none cares or knows, my friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes, they rise and vanish in oblivious host, like shades in love and death's oblivion lost. And yet I am, and live, with shadows tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. And e'en the dearest that I loved the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, the vaulted sky. I Am by John Clare. I think that's a sort of plea for solitude a little bit, a bit of get away from the humdrum of life and the busyness and all that kind of stuff. The next one's also a little bit of a lonesome one. It's by W.B. Yeats, that wonderful Irish poet, The Song of Wandering Angus. I'm just going to have a little bit of cup of tea before I go any further. Or coffee, actually. I've had coffee this afternoon. I tend to have afternoon coffee, not tea. Even though it's a tea and chat. Never mind. Cheers. So The Song of Wandering Angus. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled the hazel wand and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor and went to blow out the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran, and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips, and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and tides are done the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. Requited Love. The Song of Wandering Angus by W.B. Yeats. A couple more love ones to finish with, I think. It's quite nice to have a few love poems. There's so many love poems in the top favourites. I think love is something that we really like to express, and maybe poets express it better than we can ourselves sometimes. This one's very sweet. It's by Shelley, P.B. Shelley, Percy Bush Shelley, Love's Philosophy. The fountains mingle with the river, and the rivers with the ocean. The winds of heaven mix forever with a sweet emotion. Nothing in the world is single, all things by a law divine, in one another's being mingle. Why not I with thine? See the mountains kiss high heaven, and the waves clasp one another. No sister flower would be forgiven if it disdained its brother. And the sunlight clasps the earth, and the moonbeams kiss the sea. What are all these kissings worth, if thou kiss not me? Everything's meant to be together. Nothing in the world is single. Love's Philosophy by P.B. Shelley. Okay. And I'm going to do She Walks in Beauty as well. So She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. Another lovely one. Another lovely love poem. She walks in beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. Thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face. Where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and o'er that brow so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent. A mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. It's a very gentle one. She walks in beauty like the night, by Lord Byron. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed those poems. I've just got one more, one lovely sweet short one by Leigh Hunt called Jenny Kissed Me. And again, it's a very sweet one. Not that I'm that old yet, but it's quite a nice sentiment in this poem. Okay, Jenny Kissed Me by Leigh Hunt to finish with. Jenny kissed me when we met, jumping from the chair she sat in. Time, you thief, who love to get sweets into your list, put that in. Say I'm weary, say I'm sad. Say that health and wealth have missed me. Say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed me. It's a sweet one to finish with. I'm going to read it again. It's a very short one. Jenny kissed me when we met, jumping from the chair she sat in. Time, you thief who love to get sweets into your list, put that in. Say I'm weary, sad. Say that health and wealth have missed me. Say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed me. Okay, a lovely old book we've got in the library, The Nation's Favourite Poems. If you're not sure what you like to read, it's certainly worth a borrow. We've got this and we've got another old edition also on the shelf, so you can come in and borrow it when you're next here. Okay, everyone stay safe, take care, enjoy your poetry, enjoy your reading, okay? And I'll say goodbye now. Bye to you all. Bye. Take care.